Hi, greetings everyone. How's everyone doing? I hope you're having a great Friday. We'd like to welcome you back to Me versus Me on our second segment of Rebound. The only way is up. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm good.
That's good. Looking forward to this.
So obviously, those who tuned in last week, we spoke about coming out of dark places and not allowing yourself to stay down when life tries to keep you down. And like I always said, our slogan is called The Only Way Is Up, which means that once you're down, there's only one direction that you can go from that position. Everything that you go through in life, you actually have the capacity and the ability to get through it. Trials and tribulations are there to refine you, to test you, and to help you actually grow. You know, if you think of the most precious stone, you think of gold and every precious metal, they go through moments of refinement, which are not easy moments, which involves going through fire, which involves getting burnt. In order for it to come out and manifest as the pure diamond, as the pure gold that it is a process you need to go through in life. And sometimes we might feel like life is not being fair to us and life is being unjust to us. However, I just want to encourage everyone out there to know that everything that you're going through, you have what it takes to get through it. You've got what it takes. Would you disagree with me?
Oh yeah. I mean, from last week I've learned a lot. Whatever you go through, rebound is the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
Because last week we spoke about how rebound some has been treated into a negative thing.
Yeah.
A lot, but there's so much more to that word rebound.
Absolutely.
And obviously, what we spoke about last week, or we're going to speak about today, it shows that the great side of rebound. Because some of the reactions from last week and I feel some of the reactions from today, people always connect with a comeback story.
Absolutely.
No matter who, from all walks of life, we always like to connect with a comeback story. Someone who's been an underdog or someone who had, went through trauma or tried and then they've recovered. There's nothing better than that. And that is the side of rebound we need to look at.
Yeah.
Let's stop looking at rebound as just that one side where, that means that somebody is acting cheap because they're insecure about a relationship, and if that's been the case of somebody watching them, by watching us, they're going to see, that is the other sort of rebound then. Okay. It's actually becoming a better person.
Absolutely.
That's the most important thing, It's becoming a better person, which is how God created us to be great human beings, first and foremost. So let's focus on that. The comeback is the best.
Yeah, definitely. It's rebound is basically bounce back from that bad situation, bounce back from that traumatic experience, bounce back, come back. You've got what it takes.
Yeah.
So today, we're gonna take a trip down memory lane.
Yeah, sure.
In regards to my story, I guess. Do you want to fire off with?
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, this is a story on when you got shot.
Yes.
Yeah. Was it 2003?
2003.
2003.
August 26th.
August 26th. Yeah. I mean, I remember when I heard it, I think I got a phone call from one of our good friends, Lawal. He gave me a call. Oh, Patrick got shot, Patrick got shot, It was after Carnival, innit?
Yeah.
Was it Boxing Day or the Friday?
It was not Boxing Day.
Monday night.
It was bank holiday.
Bank holiday Monday.
Yeah, Monday night, Tuesday morning.
Yeah, bank holiday. Yeah.
Bank holiday Monday.
Yeah, I remember he called me the next day. I was just like, whatever, man. Like, Lawal, stop playing games with me. He's like, no, it's true. I was like, yeah, okay, whatever, innit? So I remember, at that time, when I heard the news, I wasn't shocked initially because I didn't believe. First of all, I did it because I didn't want it to register or whatever, but I just thought, what are you talking about, And then I think I heard it from, I have a good friend, Victor. So I was thinking that, what do you mean you got shot? Like, what is happening? So the first thing I think is, okay, then like, how are you? And what's happening and everything, in there, like all kinds of things are going through my mind, And then obviously everybody was saying that, yeah, at the hospital there's madness happening at the hospital and everything. Now I'm somebody that when I hate cringy stuff here, when I say cringy stuff, I mean this kind of stuff here. Like I'm very very bad at dealing with it.
Yeah.
Even when people send me videos of people getting shot, people get run over, I'm always like, don't send me that thing. Like I don't. I said, why is the point of sending me that thing? So for me, I was going for my own little thing that all my days, like, nah, I can't look at this guy like that. I can't look at him like that. I was thinking, nah, surely not, surely not, surely not, surely not, surely not. I was just thinking, nah, should I go? Should I go? Should I go? Nah. But I'll come to that in a minute. Before even I come to that, let me just ask you, like, how did you feel? The reaction, everything. What was it? Obviously, stupid question. Of course, it was a shock to you. You know what I'm saying? But how long did it take to register? Or was it just the fact that, like, why would anyone take a shot at me? Like, okay, I just want to do it with my friends and everything. Like, what's going on?
Well, it's the backstory behind it, which a lot of people to this day don't really know in full detail. And part of the reason as to why it's been like that is for certain people's names not to be revealed, because there's certain people who I have no bad blood against today, who I used to interact with, I no longer do, because we've gone our separate ways. Yeah. So I respected that. They respected that. They wished me well in life. I wished them well in life. And we've gone our separate ways. So I wouldn't want to drag them back or even drag their name in any kind of way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the beginning. Obviously, 2003, actually one of my favorite years in life. So 1999, 2003, and what would be my third? 2007 was a good year, but 99 definitely, because I finished secondary school, got into college, the millennium is coming, so it was really exciting. 2003 definitely. However, it was for some of the wrong reasons as to why that was one of my favorite years. Fast life, type of lifestyle that I was involved in, which wasn't completely legal lifestyle. Some of the people who I was interacting with, the lifestyle that they lived, and the things that they were getting so involved in.
So that's part of the excitement.
Yeah, part of the excitement. So fast life, illegal activities, criminal activities, fraud, parties, women, girls. Well, you know me to a certain degree. So not to say that I always brought all of that back home, because I always felt like, being from East London, where I'm from, I'm not going to bring any dirt to my doorstep. So anything that's going to happen that I won't necessarily brag about, be proud for, saying, I'll make sure I keep it away from my immediate family. Keep it away from my immediate circle of friends, even though my immediate circle of friends, which we weren't in everyone's good books either, because of, we were younger at the time. However, outside of my immediate circle, I used to be in South London a lot. South London a lot. I played basketball there as well, and that's how I got affiliated with some of the people who I got affiliated with from South London. Playing basketball, as you know, I'm a big basketball fan. I love basketball. However, I wasn't disciplined in terms of my approach to the game. So I clashed with my coach a few times. He even kicked me out of the team once and told me, to get my act together before I come back. So with that, being away from basketball, I'll be interacting with these people from South London and interacting with what they were interacting with. So obviously, they had people that they had problems with. So by me being around them, by affiliation, I'm also a target to the opposition.
That's right.
Simple as that. 1 plus 1 equals 2. Simple as that. So that's basically what it was. So I had a few encounters with those particular opposition within South London, based on my affiliation with South London. So nothing to do with East London, nothing to do with my immediate circle. but more so what I was doing in South London. I wasn't fully in. I was 1 foot in and 1 foot out. However, if you're doing it, you're doing it.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's even worse to be 1 foot in and 1 foot out. It's either you're in fully or you're out.
That's
but
right.
part of the excitement kept me in there. I always consider myself a positive individual. However, I did entertain trouble as opposed to just walking away from it, because I like to tell the next day, this happens, more excitement. So all of that was part of it. So now fast forward now 2003, like I mean, I'm having a great year for me personally. I mean, when I say great, not to say that everything that I was doing was positive, but it's the excitement, the rush that I was getting from all the things that I was doing, legal, illegal, party life, basketball, girls, females. Now on that particular day, Monday, 25th of August 2003, I left my house to go to the carnival. Myself and a group of seven, myself and 7 others, so there's like 8 of us. We went to the carnival, and obviously when you go in groups, we always go there with intentions of having fun, but also expecting altercation to happen, because that was common back then. When you go in groups, you draw the attention of other groups. They look at you, they look at you, you look at them. What area are you from? Where are you from? Weapons come out, knives come out. I mean, every year we hear of stabbings that happen at the carnival, people getting hurt, people getting injured, and sometimes even deaths as well. So we always went there with that in mind, that at any point in time something could kick off. However, it went well on that particular day. There was no altercations that we were directly involved in. No potential altercations either. So it all went well. Came back, and after the carnival, our motto is always after party. We're gonna go to an after party. And that particular year, DJ Tim Westwood, he was performing every Fridays at the Stratford Rex. Yeah. And I used to tune into Tim Westwood. I mean, you did his own. You remember how Tim Westwood was the guy, man. Every Fridays, it was at 9 p.m. We're tuning in. What's he gonna play now? We record it. Come back to college on our Walkmans. Look, this is the song that he played. So how much more now going to his actual parties? I mean, you know me. I liked that lifestyle. I still do to a certain degree, but not just the party lifestyle, the atmosphere, everything. So if I like listening to it on radio, I'm definitely going to the parties. And also, at Tim Westwood's parties, girls were free all night.
All night, yeah.
So that's double motivation for me to want to go. Yeah. So on that particular day, we came back from the carnival, and then the people I was with, they went straight to the Stratford Rex. Whereas I was tired, and I told them, look, I'm going to go home first, relax, have a shower, eat, and then I'll meet you guys, because I was feeling quite tired. Yeah. And I remember speaking to someone at the time. Her name's Melissa, and for some reason the day before, and on that particular day, as she was texting me on the phone, she was constantly saying, be careful, make sure be careful, make sure be careful. When I was thinking, nothing's gonna happen to me, like I'll be fine, like don't get yourself too worked up about it. Went home, got changed, and I'm leaving, and you know, typical mothers being, you just came back and you're going out again. Where you going? I'm thinking to myself, look, I'm going to the carnival. Like, so came out. 2 friends of mine were outside, Fabs, Derek. They're getting in their car. They're leaving to go somewhere. So I told them, look, I'm sure you guys are going. Drop me up the road. I'm going to Stratford Rex. They were passing that way, and then there was a new dude who moved into the estate. His name was Femi. He was fresh from Nigeria. Yeah. He had been there maybe 3 months. Yeah. So I asked him, I'm like, what are you doing tonight? Do you want someone to go? He's like, I don't mind. Where you go? I'm like, okay, I'm going to Stratford Rex. Team Westwood. Girls free all night. There's going to be plenty of females there. He said, okay. So we got in a car. We drove. We got dropped off by the police station. And then Fabs and D, they went off to do what they had to do. So we used the back route and was coming out. And we got by the court, Stratford Court. So I'm walking with Femi. We're just walking and talking. And then I saw a black Ford Focus go past me. Yeah. It went past me. It stopped, and then it started to reverse. Blacked out, windows tinted, blacked out. It stopped beside me, so I stopped. But then I start to walk towards the car.
Mm.
Because as far as I'm concerned, it's someone that knows me.
Yeah.
Is recognized me. I'm gonna go there and say,
Mm.
well, go on,
Mm-hmm.
what's happening?
Mm.
Yeah. Because I just came from Northwest London at a carnival where it's a festival on the streets, but when you're on the streets, anything can happen. So if anything was gonna go down, as far as I was concerned, it will go down at the carnival,
Over there, yeah.
an area that I'm not from.
Mm.
This is East London now, Stratford, basically my home turf.
Yeah.
So I'm not considering anything happening to me, hence why I'm walking towards the car.
Yeah, sure.
The passenger window comes down. Black male, hat tilted down. I still can't see him properly and it's night time. So I'm approaching it even more to be like, let me say it. And as the windows came down even more, the firearm came out. And he shouted out, pardon my French, but pussy up. He let off the shots. And as he let it off, I'm ducking down thinking, you know what? My reflexes are too slow now, but let me duck down anyway, as opposed to just standing here and getting shot, whether it's on my chest or my head. Let me at least make an effort to duck down.
Yeah.
Duck down on the floor. Car drove off. There were two girls who were at least maybe 30 feet in front of me.
Yeah.
They were laying on the floor as well, screaming. So I got up. First thing I did was check myself to make sure, where am I hit? Where am I bleeding? And I didn't see anything. I looked on the wall beside me, outside the court, and I saw the bullet holes there. But then I started looking for Femi now. Where's Femi? Where's Femi? I can't see Femi anywhere. Femi, where are you? And he was by some bushes over there. I don't even know how he got there so quickly. I see his head tilted up saying like, Patrick, what's going on? So I called him over and he's shaking, like he's traumatized, thinking what the hell is going on? I thought we're just going to a party. What's all this about? Patrick, who is it? Why are they shooting at us? I'm like, I don't know. Why are they shooting at us, Patrick? Who is it? I'm like, Femi, honestly, I don't know. So my main concern now is him because I asked him to come out. He's fresh in the country.
He's been in the country as well, isn't it?
New in the country, he's just thinking he's going out.
Yeah.
Patrick told him, Tim Westwood, the girls, he's saying driver.
Yeah,
he
must be racing.
Yeah, he must be racing. So I'm trying to keep him calm. So I asked him, do you want me to take you back home? He was like, I don't know. I'm like, look, if you want me to take you back home, I'll take you back home now. Because at that point in time, he's my priority. And I felt responsible for him because I asked him to come out. And he said, I don't know, it's up to you. The moment he said it's up to me, I said, okay. Stratford Rex is right there. I can hear the music playing from my side. I can see the queue and girls are free. So if it's up to me, I'm going. So that was my what were you thinking moment in life. Everyone's got that moment where they're like, what was I thinking? So from almost being killed just now,
you understand?
anyone in their right mind would have said, you know what, I'm going home now. Yeah.
Especially when there's a queue as well. Did you forget the danger? Like you're gonna queue it. It's not like I'm going straight to the club, but you're gonna queue because where you go is literally a stone's throw, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So I wasn't thinking that it's as logical as it is, but at that moment in time, I'm not thinking that. And we also have to consider the mentality that I had back then. So living a certain lifestyle, you're used to altercations, entertaining trouble, and then living to
it's more like, okay, then
the next day.
I live to tell,
they missed whatever.
They missed, I got a good story to tell, innit? Yeah.
So let's go.
I held it up.
I went to the queue and I see one of my friends. I saw Ellie. Ellie was outside, and everyone else had gone in. He was like, "Yeah, I ain't trying to spend no money on this, so I'm gonna try and go through the back door." I'm like, "Okay, I'll meet you inside." And then I asked him, I'm like, "Did you see a black car drive past? Did you hear gunshots going off?" He goes, "Yeah, I heard some shots going off, and then some black cars going past." He's like, "Who was it?" I'm like, "Oh, some clowns just trigger happy trying to shoot," and that's how blasé I was about the whole matter. Yeah, my main concern is the rave is here, the park is here. So I got in the queue, I'm lining up there, and after about maybe 2 minutes, I see another car roll by really slow. It was a green car, windows were tinted, and then it stopped beside me again. And then at this point, I was thinking, "Oh my days, like you should have gone home. Why did you stay?" So I started to turn my face away so that they don't see me. And the car stopped there. I'm turning my face away. I'm like, at this point, if they do anything, they're gonna get me because I'm in a queue. I can't really maneuver. Then the car drove off. Then I thought to myself, you're in Stratford. What's gonna happen to you? Yeah, back to that mentality again. Now it's gonna happen to you. Being paranoid. So I went in the place. Party was great. People who I was with at the carnival earlier, they were in there. Other people that I knew were in there. I saw one of my cousins in there, and other people that I'm pretty close with. Yeah, they were in there. Had a great time, great party. And I remember even messaging my friend who had drunk me, Fab, saying that some people are trigger happy. They just did a drive-by and they missed. So I just messaged them to tell them that. So the party finished. And you know how black people are, they never want to go home. Hanging outside, talking. You got the individual who's making the jerk chicken with the bread there, people queuing up for that, people talking to girls. We never go home straight away. So there's a road that slopes down, which now has the Stratford High Street DLR station there. So it was on that road, and just chilling. And then Fabs came back in the car with me, but then he had 2 other females in the car. So he asked me, you jumping in the car? I'm like, I'm with Femi. There's not enough space in there, so I'm not going to leave him by himself. I will take the back roads and I'll walk with him. Other people who I was with at the carnival earlier, they were going to walk in that same direction. Didn't think nothing to it. We're there chilling, and then Femi, he was queuing up to get some food as well. And then at one point, we hear sounds of gunshots going off again. Everyone starts panicking, everyone starts running everywhere. I stopped to look, and there was a guy outside the club on his motorbike, and his exhaust pipe was making that sound.
Exhaust pipe,
So I grabbed Pam and I'm like, look, don't worry, it's not gunshots this time around. It's just a guy's bike. So some people found it hilarious, and that the fact that they panicked because of that. So we'll stay there for another 3 minutes or 2. 2 minutes later, I just see a group of 5 boys just walking down the road. I didn't think nothing of it. They were just walking down the road. Normally, there's people walking everywhere. There was nothing suspicious about them. They were just walking. And then, all of a sudden, like 30 seconds later, I hear gunshots, sounds of gunshots going off again. So I look at the guy on his bike again to see, okay, is that his exhaust pipe going off again? And then I realized it wasn't him. Then when I look over to my right, I see the group of 5 boys there shooting. But they're not shooting my direction. They're shooting to my far right. But where they're shooting at is dark and I can't see who they're shooting at. Now everyone's running, but I'm still trying to see what's going on. So he's shooting, and then his friend's there that's encouraging him, go and do it. So while the first one is shooting, his friend is loading up his gun to start shooting. So the first gunman finishes shooting, he's dropping off the road. And then his friend gets the gun and starts getting ready to shoot. So then I thought, okay, RP, let's just move out. So I'm casually jogging up the road. As I'm jogging up the road, I get hit from behind. My first reaction is, Patrick, get the heck out of there before another one licks you at the back of the head and you can't run on. So I started running even faster. So the road was like uphill now. But my main thing is get out of there, because I can still hear the gunshots going off. People still running and screaming. So I'm running as fast as I can. But then it got to a point where my leg just became heavy to the point where I literally had to carry it and I couldn't feel my left arm anymore. Fortunately, I reached the corner where I was able to turn to and hide. So I turned the corner and I hid. But I can still hear the gunshots going off. The shootings are still taking place. The gunshots are still going off. People are screaming. But the strange thing is that now I can hear my thoughts a lot louder than my environment. Because I'm trying to make sense of the whole situation now, because I'm standing against the wall. People walk to my right and they're shooting to my right. And I'm heading this way. So if people are shooting to the right and I'm heading this way, how did I get hit? So all these thoughts are going through my mind. Now I can hear my mind really loud. But as far as the gunshots and everything else around me, sounds almost like, see, when you go swimming, you go under the water. In the same way that you'll hear your surroundings. That's how I was hearing things. So it was like, I could hear it, but it sounded miles away. But my thoughts were really loud. And then Femi, who was with me, he came around the corner. And he's talking to me. But he also sounds like he's at least 100 meters away from me, even though he's right next to me. I came to say, Patrick, let's go. But I'm still in my thoughts, trying to make sense of the situation. Yeah. If I'm going left and people are shooting right, how did I get hit? So I'm looking at my arm now, and my arm is literally just moving by itself, like left and right moving by itself. I'm looking at it thinking, why is my arm moving like that? I'm not moving, it's moving by itself. Literally like the way a flag would move when being blown by the wind. Literally, it's just moving left to right, moving left to right, moving left to right. And I couldn't feel it. So I was thinking, okay, maybe my arm's being detached and it's just hanging in my sleeve. I was like, oh, this can't be happening. And I was thinking about all the things that I had to do the next day, certain girl that I had to see, driving lesson that I had to do. It was a week that I was really looking forward to. And I was thinking, okay, now this has happened. And it was my first year at uni, so there's a lot to do that week. And then Femi nudged me. And then I snapped out of it and I could hear him clearly now. I was on my surroundings. He's like, Patrick, let's go. Let's go, they're shooting. I'm like, I can't move. He's like, what do you mean you can't move? I'm like, I've been shot. But because I was so calm, he was confused and he didn't know whether to take me seriously or not. That's right. Like, what do you mean you've been shot? I'm like, yeah, I've been shot. He's like, where? I'm like, my arm, my leg. I was wearing a dark tracksuit, so he couldn't see, and it's night time as well. So he's looking, he can't see, like, Patrick, I can't see. I'm like, look, I can't move. So what I did, I decided to grab my hand to see if I could feel any sensation. I grabbed my hand and I could feel a sensation there. They're like, okay, that's a good sign. So then I told him, look, you need to go and find Fabs so he could put me in a car and drive me to the hospital. However, there's still gunshots going off and he's a bit scared to come out, which is probably reasonable because you don't know what's going on out there. So I'm like, look, we need to get out of here. So as we come out, looking for Fabs, I saw an individual that I went to college with, and I think he went to your school as well. I'm not going to say his real name, obviously we'll hear pretending he's innocent, but we used to call him Noriega. Okay. Yeah. East African. Noriega. He was in there. I saw him in his car. I approached him. I said, like, bro, can you drive me to the hospital? I've just been shot. He looked at me and he said, you know what, bro, sorry, I can't get involved in your beef. And he drove off. So Femi looked at me and thought, like, what? Like, okay, this is real now. I'm not going to help you. So I was like, oh boy, this is going to be a long night. Babs came over in the car with Derek. He pulled off. I'm like, okay, the guy was looking for was here now. Babs put me in the car and drove me to the hospital. I just been shot. He looked at the driver, Derek, and he was like, Patrick's such a comedian, isn't he? And they drove off. Thought I was joking. I was like, oh my days, this couldn't get any worse. So at this moment in time, what I'm trying to do is be as low key as possible because I don't want to draw any attention to myself at all, because I don't know who just shot me. I don't know if they might come back for me. So if I'm limping to the point where everyone else can notice, they're gonna say, there he is, let's go finish him off. So I'm trying to be as low key as possible. I'm like, look, Femi, stay right next to me and worst get walk me to the gas station. In my condition now, even though it's not far, but in my condition, the state that I'm in, it's really far. So I was struggling, and then the group of boys who I was with at the carnival, they saw me from a distance and they saw me limping. So they quickly came over and they're like, Patrick, what's going on? I told them, look, I've been shot. Where? My arm, my leg. So one of them, TC, he lifted up my tracksuit bottom and he saw the blood pouring out from where I got shot in the leg. He took off his bandana, he wrapped it around my leg. So they helped me to walk down. So one of them tried to help me by this hand, and I was like, that it was like a surprising sharp pain that literally penetrated. I'm like, nah, I've been shot in his arm. You can't touch me there. So they're helping me out. And now Fabs, who thought I was joking, he saw that from a distance because he was parked up by the cab station. They got in the car, they reversed back. Patrick, I'm so sorry. I honestly thought you were joking. That there was 2 girls in the car now. They're just screaming and crying. Oh my God, she's just been shot and that. And it's late and I'm tired and I'm losing blood.
Yeah.
So I'm just tired now.
You got arrested in the hospital straight.
Yeah, I'm tired. They're like, oh my gosh, his eyes are closed. Is he gonna die? Is he gonna die? Is he gonna die? Oh my God. So D's just driving. He's going through red lights, driving as fast as he can, going around cars. Patrick, are you there? Are you there? I'm like, yeah, I'm here. Yeah, keep talking. Yeah, don't sleep. He's telling the girls, keep him talking. So Fab just talks to me, Patrick, are you there? I'm like, yeah. Where did you get shot? So I'm just responding to whatever they're saying to me, but I'm tired. I was so tired. I said to one of the girls, her name's Donna. And I'm like, look, I'm really tired. Do you mind if I lean on your shoulder? They're like, okay. So I lean on her shoulder, and I was so tired. I closed my eyes. They just set her off. Oh my gosh, his eyes are closed. Oh, he's dying. And then the driver's like, Patrick, wake up. Don't close your eyes. Wake up. Don't close your eyes. Fab's keeping me talking. And I was, at that point in time, I was calm, and I even thought of stories that people say when they say that there's a light that they see when they're that close to dying. So I got myself in a certain position and I said a prayer in my head. Just in case that light comes. I mean, I wasn't like, I used to say I'm a Christian, but I wasn't practicing none of that. I wasn't a believer. But I thought, okay, let me say this short prayer. Like, God, if there's anything that I've done in life that you will please forgive me. I said it in my head though. So I stopped talking, and as far as they were concerned, he's gone. Oh my gosh, his eyes are closed, it's gone. They're screaming and crying. And like, Patrick, wake up. So I'm still praying in my head while they're talking. Patrick, wake up. And then I open my eyes and I'm like, no, I was just praying. I'm still rushing, like going through the red lights. If the light was green, he's going through. If the light was red, he was going through. We arrived at the hospital, and then we got there. Fabs came out. He went to call the paramedics. Just playing, look, this is what happened. My friend's been shot. X, Y, Z. Now they asked him a bunch of questions. Okay, wait, calm down. What did this happen? And that. Now he's getting frustrated because they asked him a bunch of questions. As far as he's concerned, he just been shot. He could die at any minute. Pulled the stretcher out and get him in there. Oh, calm down. We need to go for some procedures. So he just got frustrated that he moved them out the way. He went in. He got the stretcher himself. Pulled it out. And they had to get me out the car now. Now, that was almost Mission Impossible. That's when, because prior to this, it's more adrenaline kicking in.
That's right.
So when I first get shot, the fact that I was confused and I didn't know how I got shot, sitting down and calm down, they're trying to get me out, and every slight movement, it's like I couldn't even describe the pain to you. So it took about 5 minutes for them to get me out of the car. They managed to do so. They put me in a stretcher, pushed me into the hospital, and then they wouldn't let them in anymore because they was asking me a lot of questions. So as they were going back to the car, a bunch of police cars came, armed police, and surrounded them. Armed police, freeze, get down on the floor, and they arrested them. So I believe that it would have been because the police heard about it. Not the police, the hospital heard about it. Once they said my friend got shot, they informed the police to say, look, someone's just been shot. It's like that. It could be a gang war, it could be retaliation. So the armed police came and arrested them. So I'm laying there and I'm just tired. I'm losing blood. They tell me that, okay, there's no doctor available at the moment. The next availability might be in the next 3 hours. Now I'm there bleeding, blood pouring out, and they're telling me 3 hours. So due to blood loss, I pass out. I wake up and I see a nurse talking to me saying, we'll have to try and remove your clothes. As they try to remove it, I don't know what's happened to my arm right now. All I know is that I can't feel it, and it's extreme. Like the pain is just beyond belief. Like, I couldn't even put it in words.
Ooh.
So as a reflex, I grabbed them by the throat. This was a reflex.
Yeah.
That, okay, we're gonna have to cut through your clothes
Mm.
in order to give you the treatment that you need. I pass out. I wake up and I'm in, I think, the X-ray room. Pass out. I wake up. I'm in another room. I pass out. I wake up and the nurse is telling me, okay, we got the results. Your arm is broken. As soon as they said your arm is broken, I'm like, oh my days, man. I started to think of everything that I had to do that week. I'm like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? And that. I pass out again. I wake up and I see police. Right now, I've got the gas mask on now.
Yeah.
I see police around me. They talk to me, and they've got this thing that they put in on my around me, on my chest, around my body. And they're like, oh, basically, we're just checking for gunpowder, just to make sure that you didn't have a firearm. I looked at them thinking, like,
oh, yeah.
I couldn't even respond to them because I was so tired.
Yeah.
I was just staring at them. I didn't even have the energy. Passed out again. And then when I woke up now, I saw a few members of my family. Then I see my brother Oliver, my mum was there, my aunt Stephanie, my aunt Josephine, my uncle Bob was there, my aunt Jeanette, Fab's mum, was there. My mum was the first one to approach me, like, Patrick, are you okay? And I was too tired to even speak. Just, can you hear me? She went back. My aunt Jeanette came, Patrick, can you hear me? I was just, the energy to speak just wasn't there. Passed out again. Woke up the next day, I'm in a different room with something really heavy on me. Looked like a blanket, but it felt extremely heavy. Police came, they're like, okay, what you've got there is a bulletproof blanket because we're trying to just make sure that whoever did this isn't going to come back and try and finish the job. I didn't say anything to that. I was like, what, bulletproof blanket? Okay. So what they were doing during the first few days was only allowing immediate family to come in and taking a picture of people that were coming in and showing it to me. If I recognized them and I authorized them coming in, they came in. So that's how it was. First few days, immediate family came. My brother Tony came. He came with his kids. So I'm getting visits, and now I'm getting interviewed by the police now. Obviously, they need to do their job. This part was pretty interesting because they felt like I was withholding information. So I was literally telling them what happened. I was like, I don't know who shot me. I don't know why they shot me. Initially, I wasn't going to tell them that they shot at me before I went to the party. However, family had already given the statement. So I was like, okay, if I withhold that, it's definitely going to look like I'm hiding something. So I told them, okay, this is what happened before we got to the party. I went to the party, then I came out, and then I got shot. I don't know who. It must have been mistaken of identity. That's how I'm seeing it. But the main thing was, okay, if it is mistaken of identity, why would they try to get you at the beginning? And then why is it that after the party you get shot? Like, of all the people that they were talking about, I mean, Stratford Rex, you know how big it is. DJ Westwood.
Why single you out?
So, of all the people that could have gotten hits,
it was you.
So you're trying to say that the main target was completely missed? Completely missed. No one else was completely hit, but just you, who also happens to be the same person who got shot at before the party. Can you see how this looks, Patrick? I'm like, I see how it looks. However, I don't know. Okay, we'll be back, Patrick. So almost every other day they'll come back, same question, same question, same question, same question, same questions. Got an operation, and then they told me that the bones were not broken but shattered in pieces, which made it even harder for them to operate on me. So I had to have like an external fix, metal bars put through my flesh into the bones, and like a thick bar there. I had nerve damage on my left hand, so my left hand was paralyzed, couldn't move. I couldn't walk anymore. I was in a wheelchair as well. So it was basically a case of this could be me today onwards. And I accepted that to a certain extent because I said to myself, I have done things that I'm not proud of in life to people directly. And I've done things that have affected people as well. So I'm willing to deal with the consequences. I mean, at least I'm alive. So let me just make the most of this opportunity to try and make sure that I live the rest of my life. So I'll say that in my mind, I'll say that to myself, and verbally I would express it at times as well. But then certain people that visit me will say that, no, Patrick, you can't speak like that. You got to be positive, speak, talk, and confess positive things. But I'm like, well, look, the reality is, if it happens, it happens. So I'd rather not get my hopes up and it doesn't happen. I'd rather accept it now, so that if I don't get any better, I've already accepted it. No, pray. So people from my mum's church were coming. So I was getting a lot of visits, a lot of support. However, there were people who I expected to be there that never turned up. Like on the day that I went to the carnival, there was 7 of us, 8 including me, that went. Out of the 7, only 1 came to see me, and that was Ellie. So shout out to Ellie. The rest they didn't come. So I was thinking, okay, they're gonna come at some point. But for the whole 3 weeks of being there, they never came, they never messaged, they never text. Certain family members never came. Some never text, some never called. So I was thinking to myself, okay, this is strange. Like, okay, there must be a justified reason as to why. And I'll even say to myself, you know what, maybe I've done something to them. And that's why they haven't come. So once I come out, I'll speak, and then they'll tell me welcome. Because I was trying to justify it, because I was thinking there's no way this person wouldn't come see me. There's no way that person wouldn't come see me. So there was the physical aspect of it in terms of trying to recover. But then there was also the mental aspect. It was definitely a time for reflection for me, a life lesson. So I was so ride or die in terms of as far as friends were concerned. And my mom used to tell me, like, you and friends are going to be the death for you. Like, loyalty was like on 1,000. You need this, okay, I'm there. You need me to cover for you, I'm there. You need me to lie for you, that's how I was. So this really took me back, like put me on the back seat to say, okay, have a look at life. But however, on the flip side, certain people who I didn't expect to come, who I was not speaking to them with, they came to see me. So that's balanced it out. Well, I was like, okay, you know what? Life is strange. Life is interesting. There was the discipline that I had to apply in order to start doing all the physio work in order to get better, which mentally it was a lot harder than it was physically. Physically it was hard to see myself not being able to walk anymore, being in a wheelchair. Well, I was someone who was athletic. I played basketball. I was always up and down, very active, out, raving, clubs, basketball. Now I'm restricted to being in a wheelchair where I have to rely on someone to help me get out of bed. I have to rely on someone to push me so that I can get somewhere. My hand's paralyzed. I can't move it. I can't. It didn't move up anymore at all. It stayed like that. It didn't move anymore. So I had to have, as far as the external metal bars that I had to have an arm brace with strings on it in order to get me to start exercising the nerves again. But there was literally just no progress at all. People from my mum's church would come, pray for me, preach. But at the time I'm thinking, okay, thank you, I appreciate it, but this whole Bible bashing stuff is like, I just want to be around friends. I want to get crack jokes. I want to get my spirit uplifted. Certain family members, they're typical. They'll come and praise. You see, you guys don't listen. I'm in a predicament right now. Like, I don't need none of that, but out of respect, you just keep quiet. So they feel as though like, unless you are telling someone off. That's it. What reason would you have to tell me off right now? Like, right now, like, what are you getting from feeling like like.
Yeah, that's
Okay, say what you gotta say. Um, However, the
yeah.
people who visited definitely
Mm.
lifted my spirit.
Nah, that's good.
Definitely motivated me.
Mm.
Like I remember my sis Natalie Kamanga. Like that was when my journey with her really began. That's when she like started to like really invest in me in terms of being a life coach,
Yeah.
helping me to better myself individually. So from that day in 2003 up until now, there's never been a moment when I'm around her where she doesn't speak good counsel to me, where she doesn't advise me without fail every single time. Yeah, and she's a hairdresser as well, so she started to do my hair. Her first time doing my hair was when I was in hospital.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was the beginning of the journey, and she's one of the main reasons as to why I came to Christ. She was one of the people who like really built that foundation for me. So every time she would come, it was that was an encouragement speaking to me. Yeah, just like I remember my friend like TK, his mom came. One of the highlights when she bought like the biggest bowl of fruit that I've ever seen. It had almost like every fruit that you could imagine there. I remember that.
Yeah.
I was getting so much visits, so much food that there were now complaints at the hospital because there were other visitors who wasn't getting as many visits.
Yeah.
So it was depressing them to see that this particular individual is getting so much love, so much provision, and so much visits. So they started to limit the amount of visits that was coming. I was annoyed at that because I'm like, look, man,
what do they expect, though?
Your issue's just that you're good. Your issue's just that it's good. Like me, like I'm broken right now. Yeah. So I need.
That's what you need. Yeah, of course.
The revival that I can get, you know.
Yeah.
And I'll have friends come at me and they will crack jokes on my situation. That's how we are. And I didn't want no sympathy. Some people came and they broke down, they started crying, which I understand and I appreciate. But I just told everyone, like, look, there's no crying allowed. If you cry, you gotta leave. Someone will come, they'll look at my arm, they'll be like, oh, a Robocop, oh, Terminator, Piano Man, and that's what we needed. So some of them will cracking jokes with each other. So from the place that I'm working now, I was doing youth work. The young people from youth centres, they came to support. Some of the colleagues came to support. Some friends came and whatnot. That was good. I had in the ward that I was in, I had people all kind of condition. I had like a drug addict opposite me. I had a guy who used to just get up and just shake every now and then. I didn't know what was wrong with him. I had a guy who was senile who used to just talk my ears off on the left. I had a guy who had, what's that condition when you just swear all the time? That condition. One guy, that's all he would do, just swear all the time. And there was another guy opposite me who would just, he wasn't a potato, but he was like halfway a potato. He would just make sound like, and when he makes that sound, it would stir this one up, and he'll start his cursing. And the one who's seen now would just stop talking, ask 1,001 questions. The drug addict will just go missing sometimes and come back, or he'll come to me and be like, okay, do you know what I can get some food from? Some drugs, okay, do you know what I can get some crack from? And the other one will just get up and start shaking. So it was literally like a madhouse, the ward that I was in. I hardly got any sleep. I was sleep maybe 2 hours a day. The days were long.
I can imagine.
Long.
Of course. Okay, I mean, now, when the thing happened again, like, you've spoken about visits and everything, you know. Now, I didn't come to see you. You know, when I think now of how I was then, for me again, it was that thing of, nah, I can't look like that. And it wasn't even just that. I remember, I think up to my mom's, one of my friends got shot, you know. She was like, where do you go? They go to the hospital. I said, oh, mom, no. I told her, I said, mom, he's like my good friend. You know, she was just giving it to me in my ears, innit? And obviously, I wasn't on the streets like you guys were. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it was like, oh, man, okay, don't wait. I won't go, don't. But thinking, nah, I need to sneak. But in my mind, I was more into me, thinking that I don't want to see him like that. Which obviously was wrong. You know, because because obviously you don't think that, oh, just because you hate looking like cringe and stuff, you know, you have to cross that line and look at the person, especially the way you are, because I really like the way you are. You talk about when it comes to loyalty, you're 1000%, and that's really how you are. And I don't know if you noticed, but you give an example of Femi.
Yeah.
You give an example of Femi that the first time he got shot, you wanted to take Femi back home. Like you didn't care about, you wanted to take him. You was willing to go back, bring you home, and then just come back with your brother and say, oh, well, your way home.
Yeah.
Call me or whatever. I'll call you. I'll call and check up on you. And I know that's the type of person you are. You know what I'm saying? That if someone calls you and then I want to jump on top of this building at 2 a.m. I know that you will come. You know what I'm saying? So we know that whether before salvation, even after salvation, you are still rather dying. That is how you are in it. That's how I always tell people. I know Patrick definitely is rather die. If he can do it, he will do it. If we give it a shot on the back of his, or if we take off and give it to you, Patrick will do it. It's not just me talking. He does it with action as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So with you, how was the thing like for me? Not turning up there. You've been college. We been college together. We was quite close. Then we went college together, and obviously we started uni. Obviously we went to different unis and everything. But even though we have like different friends that we hang out with, but we always have that connection. You know what I mean? It's always been real like that. But that's God. Yeah. But how was it like for you?
It's strange because, like I said, there were people who I expected to be there.
To come,
you being one of them. I don't want to embarrass anyone else by putting them. Like in my immediate circle, there were people who didn't come. When I say my immediate circle, like when I post pictures and I say vintage 1993 CT, can you tell?
Oh wow!
In those pictures, there was some who didn't come.
Nah.
Yeah, there was some who didn't come.
Wow. Okay.
Like one in particular lived in the same area as the hospital. Like he could have jogged there to go. They never came. Some family members never came. Some people who saw me at the club that night and knew what happened to me never came. So I was more taken back and it was almost like a life lesson for me there. And remember, I was also saying to myself, okay, maybe something that I'd done. So even once I came out of hospital, I was going out to see them. So even once I got home, I still didn't get visits from some of these people. I still didn't. I was going to see them, and it was just like, I was like, wow, so this is how life is. So it was just a moment for me to just to take notes and understand life and make wiser decisions and know where to draw the line as far as my loyalty being 1000, as far be there for people, but do it within reason. Now, I've got no resentment against any of them. I'm still close with today, so I don't hold it against them, and that was important for me to know because that could have been a seed of bitterness where you become bitter and you become like that.
For real.
To be quite frank, if anyone became bitter like that, no, I don't do this for people because when I was in a life and death situation, some people didn't even come to see me. Some people didn't even text me. They didn't even email me. They didn't even, So it was that. So I didn't. Would I say I didn't allow it to? No, I think I was going through it's the process. I was going through the process and paying attention to the process, and that's what kept me from being offended the way I thought that I would have been offended. The way that I would have been offended. I asked myself sometimes as well, like, how comes I wasn't offended? I don't really have the answer to that, but I'm glad that I wasn't offended, and I'm glad that I had that mature approach towards that situation as well. As young as I was back then, it surprised me. It could have triggered a lot. However, it's taught me how to set boundaries and to see how far I'll go against, go for certain people. Some of them called eventually, and they're like, you know what, I'm so sorry that I didn't come. I don't know why. One of them messaged me like, you know what, like, I'm trying to figure out why I didn't come to see you. Like, there's no justified reason. So some of them, it's like, it's their child's birthday and I'm there. They call me for this, I'm there. So I didn't allow it to because the love that I was shown from the people that came there, like, was unmatched by the negativity,
Wow.
but the lack of people that didn't come there. So even though some of the people who I expected to be there came anyway, but I really appreciated them being there. They just saw it as, well, damn, Patrick, why would I not come to see you? Nah, like, bro, I mean, I owe you for life for being here, you know. My friend, younger sister Strauss, she would come there, do my hair. My homie Sylvia, she would come and she provided, like, she had like this yellow radio for me where I always had music there. Like, everyone came and did what they were supposed to do, like see my nephews and nieces being there, like just being around them, like even though they don't remember it now, which is cool, but I wouldn't really want them to remember me being in that situation. They were there. Aunt was there. I was getting phone calls from overseas. That was very uplifting. So the next phase now was, the challenge now was, what do I do once I come out? And what happens? Do I recover? Or am I not going to recover? So what's life going to be like with me in a wheelchair, permanently broken off? And I'm getting all these Bible bashing talking about, well, God loves you, that's what you're like, you're lucky, you see, you need to start going to church. I was just thinking like, and I was just being so overwhelmed with that. I was like, you know what, okay, cool, I'll go to church, just to keep them quiet. Eventually came out, but I came out very angry though, very angry, almost like, how dare they think they can take my life? Because I was still getting phone calls from my people from South. They didn't come, and there was an agreement between myself and them for them not coming because police was around taking statements, and I didn't want them to come around. I didn't, like, a lot of people didn't know them till this day. I made sure that I kept them separate. I didn't want my family to know them. I wanted
because you was quite unusual, isn't it? Because it's quite unusual to have like a group in East and South. It's very it's very good. You were swinging, back and forth. It's very unusual. So you were quite comfortable with it.
And I really kept it away, totally away, kept it away. And their main thing was revenge, Patrick, revenge. We're ready. I'm like, no, we can't do it now because the police is on my case. They are watching me. So anything that happens, they're gonna get to me. But they're still asking me the same questions, and they're still asking me what happened. And I was telling them what didn't happen until I think it was the third week, because I came out second week, went home, but then there was an issue in my operation where they didn't do it properly. So the external fix got detached when I was at home. Like the whole metal bar got detached. Once it got detached, because it was connected to my bones inside, the weight of it was moving my bones internally, and that pain was even worse than getting shot.
Yeah, that's the pain right there.
That pain was even worse than getting shot. So I had to check myself back into hospital again, stay overnight for another week. It was so bad. I remember the first night being there. I was meant to have been operated on the first night that I was there. It didn't happen to the second day. I wake up in the morning and the weight of the metal bar was so heavy that when I turned around to look at my shoulder was twisted back like that because of the weight. Like literally, I just looked at my shoulder and I was like, I just went back to sleep. I was like, I can't wake up and see this. Like, let me just pretend that I didn't see that. So I had to get operated on again. So the physio basically started from scratch again. So mentally, it was just draining. I just think, this is too much. I don't want to do this. Like, if I'm going to be in a wheelchair, let me be in a wheelchair and just start. But certain people like Mumsy, obviously, strong cookie, tough cookie, there. She personified strength. She was always there. And people were praying with me, and people were encouraging me, and friends were cracking jokes. So I had everything that I needed, really. So like sympathy is like within reason, but not like I need to be uplifted. So I did as much as I could with the physio, step by step. I eventually started to get better. I was able to start walking, and movement started to come back on my arm again. However, I was still trying to be out at night. I'll see black cars go past, and I'll stop and I'll look. Is this the same car? And this is me with my
I'm in a cast, isn't it?
I'm in a cast. I'm crutches walking the street. I'll still go to raves. Mom will be sleeping. Like, okay, cool. Yeah, she's sleeping. Come out. Yeah, I'll sneak out the house. I'll go raving, and I'll go in there. Sometimes people look at me and be like, "What the hell is that? This dude arms?" And I'll be looking at them like, "What are you looking at?" Like, what are you looking at? So my mentality was like, I'm vexed. Someone's tried to take my life. Like, I'm vexed. No one's got a right to take my life. So it was almost like if trouble's there, I'm looking at it in the face because I just came from a place where
Yep. You stared death in their face.
Got killed. Yeah. So to me, the worst has already happened.
The worst has already happened. Yeah.
So it's whatever now. It's whatever now. So as I was being pressured to go to church, I would initially go when it's like 10 minutes left. 10 minutes left. Just so I could say, okay, I've come. But I didn't like it. I didn't like going there because they had heard about what happened to me. It had spread throughout the church. So when I was coming there, some of them, they were like, "Hi, welcome," but they were very standoffish because they had labeled me as this is a street kid.
Yeah, the troublemaker.
In gangs,
street.
guns, knives, or whatever. So I can see that I'm not stupid. And they were criticizing me. Okay,
you better off staying away than
why do you dress like that? Okay, well, obviously I used to sag really low. Okay, that I get it. Oh, why do you have a piercing in your ear? I'm hearing this as I'm putting my foot through the door. I'm thinking, let me get my foot through the door. And it's like, first of all, I don't even want to be here. Let alone here you go, okay, I'll just sit there, leave, go, sit there, leave, go. So I did that for a minute.
Before I talk about revenge, let me fast forward. Okay. Now that we are in Christ, and you look back at the incident, now how do you see it now? Do you see it as, whoa, this was definitely a plan of the enemy to take me out? A well orchestrated plan of the enemy to take me out, that he used this particular person, group, or whatever to try and take me out. Is that how you see it now? And have you made peace with the situation?
Yeah, I've definitely made peace with the situation, and I would say that I made peace with the situation. I mean, I understood what it was. I understood what happened. I understood it from a spiritual perspective, how it was initiated, the person was actually involved in it, because what we just saw physically was black kids, black youngsters, gang members, as they would label us, fighting, trying to kill and shoot each other. Typical. It happens. Years later, I found out how it was initiated spiritually. So yeah, definitely a target from the enemy. So being alive, overcoming it, being from a wheelchair, paralyzed, hand paralyzed to being able to walk, I can run, jump, play basketball again. Victory. So not just peace, not only have I made peace, but I won. Above peace, like I won. They didn't try. The people who tried to, they fell. It was my second time back in hospital that I actually found out what happened, because I got one particular visit where a female came and she told me what she saw happening. Basically, where as I was outside the club, I was gonna walk in a certain direction, and the car that had shot me earlier was parked just maybe 50 meters down in the direction I was going at. So there was an incident between Hackney and Stratford that was taking place, which had nothing to do with me. And then there was this other incident between myself and the car that shot at me. So once the people from Hackney, which were the ones who were shooting, came and started shooting, it threw off the other people who were coming at me, because at that particular time the girl said that she saw them creeping up on me, without me knowing. So once the people from Hackney were shooting at Stratford, it distracted them. So once I started to run up the road, they saw me running and they took their chance. So had that incident between Hackney and Stratford not happened, these guys would have and taken me out. They would have taken me out straight away. So once you described them, I knew who it was. But by that time, I had already given my statement to the police already. So I was like, okay, I've told them what I could. And they stopped contacting me. They even closed the case without me knowing. They stopped contacting me anyway. I was just angry because I wanted to get my clothes back from the police station. My black and red Air Force Ones that I had I want to get those back. Yeah. So.
No, that's actually awesome because see when you think back at it every year,
Yeah.
and obviously you can tell me if you think about it every year, and obviously and especially now we understand things spiritually.
Yeah.
Look at the way you just explained it. They were actually creeping up on you without your knowledge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But not even somehow, but God knew all that, and then He still blocked that. This other thing happened that distracted them. You didn't know, but they were actually coming to just finish off, basically.
Yeah.
You know, so when you think about it now, and you think about your purpose in Christ now, you know that do you appreciate life more, and do you actually remember that date every year, as in, okay, let me celebrate life, or okay, the date has happened, okay, but I've moved on now. Has it made you appreciate life even more now, in terms of like you fulfill your purpose, and is that a thing that keeps you going, like whenever you feel like giving up or whatever, like, okay, look, I came close to, somebody was yard from finishing me off, but I'm standing still, so how do you feel?
It made me appreciate life. It took maybe 2 years after that, I would say the change, what helped me bounce back, and I'll always say this, it wasn't even I found God or anything, no, that's not how I came to Christ. So a lot of people think that, but it's really not, because after that I was angry.
Yeah.
I was out.
You came to Christ much later, innit?
It was my nephews and nieces. My nephews and nieces. So we're talking about, you know, I love them all worldwide, but I'm talking about the ones that are here in this country, or the ones who are alive at the time, because some were born later. So I'm talking about, we're talking Jesse, Jemima, we're talking Vladdy, Soleila, Katie, Magnolia. I'm thinking about my younger cousins, like the Mandys, Graces, Enzo. So being around them was like Uncle Patrick, coming around Uncle Patrick, and it got to a point where my brother used to tell me, I'll go to the house and before I sit down, he goes, don't sit down, get up. Go tell your nephew to pull his trousers up. I'm like, what? He goes, no, go tell your nephew to pull his trousers up, because he ain't getting that from me. The only person who sees do that is you. Yeah. Mind how you live with that Patrick, mind because he's there, he's watching. So that sunk in with me, so I thought, you know what? I gotta make certain changes now because they are watching. So that was my main motivation. And then around the same time, that's when you and Victor was inviting me to come to church. One of my best friends, Alan, his sister Natalie, was inviting me to come to church. And my big sis Natalie was inviting me to start coming to church. But there was no pressure around it. It was very organic and authentic the way it happened. And not knowing that all of you guys attended the same church is all, without even knowing. So once I came for your invitation, I saw Natalie, she's like, oh, you finally came. And I saw my sister Natalie, she's like, oh, you finally came. So they all probably thought that they all invited. I mean, technically they all invited me.
Yeah.
So once I got there, which was at KICC, I actually felt like, okay, this is what church is supposed to feel like. Because when I was going to the other place, it was pressure. I was being judged all the time, and I just didn't want to be there. I didn't see the point in it. And some people were shady as well. I would go there with one of my sisters who lives in France. She'll come there, but people will automatically assume that's my partner. So they approach me and ask me, okay, so how long have you and your girlfriend been together? I'm like, that's my sister. Oh, I didn't know. I'll go there, and some people will not speak to me, but they will speak to my niece, like my older niece, Evelyn. They'll speak to her, greet her, and then leave. I'll be like, that's rude. I'll come with my sister and my niece. They'll speak to my sister, they'll speak to my niece, and not speak to me. So I had to tell my mom, like, look, man, no offense, but I ain't trying to come to your church no more. Some people that I feel like they're hypocrites, judgmental, and that. So once I came to KICC, I felt like, okay, this is what church is supposed to feel like, and it happened naturally, gradually. So I was able to make that transition now. I always remembered the day, August 26th. So every August 26th, I'll message people, I'll tell them thanks. Once I got involved in social media, I'll post it every year. I'll post a picture of myself in hospital in a wheelchair. Look, thanks for everyone who supported me on this day. I owe you guys for life. But then 3 years after that, my father passed away on that date, August 26th. So it was a bit touchy-feely, like, okay, the dates where I was not taken out. my father dies on that date.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of negativity attached to that particular date. So I just tried to make sure, okay, I'm going to remember the fact that I stayed alive on that date. So even though it's the same date that my father passed away, I'm going to keep pushing that. And then eventually in 2015, my niece's daughter was born on that date. And I was like, okay, finally, something positive to erase all form of negativity that's attached to that date. So now on August 26th, I just think of Amaya's birthday. I don't think of me almost being killed. I don't think of my father passing on that date. It's a case where it's like there's pure positivity on that day. Now it's Amaya's birthday. It's Amaya's birthday. It's Amaya's birthday. She's 5 years old now. So it's been 5 years of not attaching that date to anything negative. So we celebrate life and we celebrate Maya and my niece's life.
And that's Rebound. Do you know what I mean?
That's Rebound,
that is you can't get better Rebound than that, you know, because like you said, obviously many have been in your situation and like they've not recovered. We're not talking about not recovering, I'm like they've recovered physically, like you have, but mentally, you know, bitterness has got to them and like they've not been able to move on, you know. So it's important to have, especially when God has put a message in you, when God has put a ministry in you. So that's why Rebound is sometimes we when the trauma happens, we get the shock that, look, is this what God, like, is this what life is about? Like, come on, I need a break, man. Give me something, like, come on, what is this, you know? But then, as you go forward and you look back, it's like, boy, this, I couldn't have, you know, I couldn't have written it, even if my worst nightmare, you know? And that's why Rebound is, like you said at the beginning, Rebound is bouncing back, you know, like, to say that you've totally bounced back from that, you know, and I'm sure even some of the street guys that you know, they will ask you, okay, let's get revenge. Obviously, they know that the way you are. They know that obviously you're not about that life. That, oh, by the way, can we still get revenge? I just want to, you know, they respected that side of you, haven't they? That they will not allow you to get involved again in these sort of things, and that's when you know that change has happened. Really. You know, so I mean, for you, like, when was like the click that you finally rebounded? Was it that the date when your niece was born?
That was a seal because the dates, like me almost dying, my father dying, same date. I mean, it's hard to shake that off. So even if I was making peace with that date, then bam, your father passes away on that date. It's like, So my great niece being born on that date, that was a seal. But I would say the process of peace, or when I knew I found peace, was in 2007 was the Revenge Day. Remember you mentioned Revenge earlier, Revenge Day, when I got a random phone call from one of the people who I used to interact with himself, and I was shocked that he called me because I hadn't heard from them in 3 years, 2.5 to 3 years. So I received a phone call and it's like, no, a text message. We caught one of them. Meet me at. I was like, what? And I remember the date. It was Saturday, 7th of July, 2007.
You went date.
Saturday, 7th of July. I had just left my then girlfriend's house, and I'm going to Dagenham to see my nieces. So that's why I always say my main thing, encouragement, was my nephews and nieces. So I'm getting this message when I'm going to see my nephews and nieces. So it's a choice. Do you go see your nephews and nieces? Or do you go 3 years backwards? Now, there was a point of time where I was praying and waiting for this day. The day has come now. Choose. Do you go to see your nephews and nieces, or do you go back? Please. Okay. I picked the phone call. Where are you guys? We're here. Okay. So I was like, let me go see, and then I'll go see my nephews and nieces. So I felt like I could choose both. I went there. We met in a particular location. We got in a car. We drove from one part of London to another part of London. We met with some other people in 2 cars. and then we drove to another part of London. We ended up in a warehouse in a different part of London. So I'm deliberately not mentioning the locations. When we got there, there's like a car in there. Some guys that I know surrounding the car, and I can hear screaming like someone being tortured. Their head comes out the car, and they're screaming out my name, like, Patrick, tell him to stop, tell him to stop. I'm thinking, who the heck is that? Like, I can't recognize his face because I don't know what they've done to his face, but he's borderline disfigured now. I can't recognize him. He falls out the window of the car, he's crawling towards me to stop, and I realized who it was. I was like, what? So it was one of the individuals who was in the car that shot at me. So he's begging for his life. My people are there, ready to do what they need to do. All up in my ears, like, okay, time here, what do you want to do? Like, okay, well, I've handed it to you, you do it, or we do it. He's begging, oh no, it wasn't me, I didn't pull the trigger, it was just, I was just in the car, this, that. So they're being aggressive towards him, stepping on him, kicking him, this, that, and that. Now, I'm not saying a single word because I'm just trying to process everything that's going on. So in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, you've waited for this day. It's here now. However, the fact that I didn't react to it convinced me that, nah, I believe that I've moved on from that. So now my people are getting agitated. Like, what are you doing? Like, I did all this for you. Like, I'm not getting got frustrated. Like, you know what? Like this. So he went into the boot of the car that was in, and he brought out the guy's little brother. So we was riding in the boot of the car was
crying out loud.
Yeah, it was the guy's little brother was in the car. So he was like 9-10 years old at the time.
On.
They kidnapped him. They just slapping him up and down. He's crying, and then the guy's like, "Please, not my brother." He was just like, "You know what? Just kill me. But leave my brother alone. He's a good boy. This, that, and that." So now I'm thinking to myself, "What's going on? What's all this?" Like, I'm still speechless. I'm still not speaking. I'm just trying to make sense of the whole situation, regather my thoughts, and seeing how I can respond to it in the best way. They handed me something in order for me to do something, but I wasn't taking it. So I said, okay, no problem, what we'll do, we won't touch him, but what you guys did to Patrick, we're going to do that to your little brother now. Twice in his arm, once in his leg. The little boy's crying because he doesn't know what's going on.
He doesn't even know.
He don't know what's going on. He's asking his brother, what's going on?
9, 10 years old.
I just crying, they slapped him on the shoulder. So they took the weapon and they was about to perform on the little boy. I had to get in the way and say, you know what, nah, that can't happen, it's a little violent. So now there's no altercation between me and my people. They feel like we've gone through all this to get you here. And like we prepared this meal for you, well seasoned and everything, laid it down by the best chef, and you come and you're saying that you're not gonna eat? Well, are we supposed to throw this food away? Basically. I say, you know what? I wash my hands from this, man. I'm not involved. I'm out, I'm gone. Anything that happens. So I left and I went to see my nephews and nieces straight away. Like, that was my, for a long time, that was my safe place. That was like my therapy. Like, if I was stressed and whatnot, I'm like, you know what? I need to go to Big Bro's house, man, see nephews and nieces. I'll just go there, I'll turn up. I'll never call to say I'm coming, I'll just turn up. And he used to get my kids and be like, why do you always come at night time? How come you always come at night time? And they used to crack jokes like, hey, oh, Patrick, you always come at night time. Why do you always come at night time? They didn't know. They just thought he just comes at night time. Sometimes daytime, but a lot of time I just turn up and just be around them and just chill therapy and just leave late. Went to see them, and then the following day was my godson's christening. So Alan, it was his son's christening. So I went to see my nephew and nieces, and then I went and stayed over at my friend's house. Then the next day was the christening. So that helped me to kind of just like, you know, let me just erase what happened tonight and move forward this particular way. You know, I was living a legitimate lifestyle. I started, was it 2007? No, not yet. At the end of that year, I decided that, you know, before I entered the new year, I'm going to live a legitimate lifestyle. So the process, the change in my mind was already there. I knew what I didn't want to be a part of anymore, and I knew where I needed to head. So I definitely knew that. yeah, so
No,
that's how revenge was dealt with. I focused on the influence that I was gonna have on people. It could either be negative or positive. I chose the positive. It didn't happen overnight. It's hard. It was tempting to go back in certain and live a certain way, especially when you used to do things a certain way. And especially if you're good at it, and if you're not bait of what you do.
Temptation
You know,
always comes.
it was fun. Some of the things was fun. The lifestyle was fun. However, I had to look at the bigger picture. So I overcame the physical injuries. I overcame being down mentally, being down emotionally. I overcame accepting the fact that certain people aren't going to be there for you in life the way that they would. I overcame all of that, and I overcame that because I was put in a position to get revenge. But then I overcame that by doing things the proper way, and I took the faith seriously, and I just decided that, you know what, I'm going to stay with it. Certain people, they don't believe it. They're like, you go to church, yeah, right, never, man. You're probably going to Slinker Girl, you're probably going to Ray, or you're probably going to, you know, it is what it is. Because even when I was in hospital, I was hearing rumors. People were talking about the reason as to why I got shot.
Yeah, the feel was of a woman.
Of a woman, or
you took someone's girlfriend.
Took someone's girl, took someone's money. A certain individual, I'm not going to mention the name, even told the story as if it was there. Patrick was looking into. There was a guy there with his girl, and he approached the girl in front of the guy, and the guy was like, "Oh, that's my girl." And he told the guy, "Yeah, shut up, I'm not talking to her." I'm thinking to myself, that what, like?
But why would someone lie like that?
Yeah, so it's like, it was amazing as to what stories people were coming out with. People who weren't there. The only people that are actually qualified to say what happened is probably 3 people. Perhaps. And maybe D. And they don't talk about it.
They don't talk about it.
They don't talk about it. But everyone else who wasn't there, oh my days, man, they've got scripts written.
Of course.
They even imitate my body like
everyone has juicy stories.
You weren't there, and you didn't even come see me at hospital, but you know what happened.
You know what happened.
Yeah. So it's life lessons. It's life lessons. Like it was definitely an important phase of my life. An important phase of my life, which helped me deal with other stages of my life that I got to. That was hard, but I've had other stages in life that were a lot harder than that. But had it not been for that, I wouldn't have been able to deal with everything else that came. So the only way was definitely up. So definitely just thanks to everyone who came and the ones who didn't come, because I learned. I learned regardless. I learned regardless.
And I mean, and finally, like, okay, the way forward now, you know, and that's also to somebody watching out there. Somebody might be saying that, well, does Rebound ever end?
Does Rebound ever end?
Yeah, do you go to a stage where, okay, I've rebounded, I'm back now, that's it?
Yeah, Rebound can end, but that's a decision that you have to make. Rebound can end regarding the particular situation. Rebound can end regarding that. Yeah, you're gonna go through other stages in life. You're gonna experience other things in life. Yeah, you're gonna fall in life. Yeah, but you're gonna rebound. So if you're rebounding over the same situation, then that's a problem. Clearly, you're doing something wrong, or you don't really want to change from that. Certain people like to stay stuck to the situation that they're used to. Oh, I just know abuse, so I'm gonna stay in this abusive relationship. I know drugs, so I'm gonna stay taking drugs. I know street crime, street life, gang life, so I'm gonna do that. That's the only thing I know how to do. They'll go back to it. Yeah, it's mind over physical. Definitely, it's more mental. I promise you that it's more mental. If you're strong mentally and you develop yourself mentally, it's gonna help you to get up in the morning and do what's required physically. Yeah. It's a mind battle over anything. Like me being able to walk today, I mean, if I didn't tell some people, they wouldn't know that I was in a wheelchair and able to walk, or that I was paralyzed. Like, I can play, but I'm not as good as I was at basketball, but I can play, I can run, I can jump. So people who don't know would never know by just looking at me. Don't know about looking at me. So yeah, rebounding from a situation can change. From life until your assignment in life is finished, then yeah, you will fall, but you don't stay down. And when you fall, sometimes falling and being on the ground is usually where you will get your best lessons from. Because you'll find that there's no distractions. You find that you'll see things clearly.
That's right.
From a clear view.
That's right.
You will hear things clearly. you'll see people for who they really are when you're rock bottom and down.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
you'll see people,
Yeah,
you'll see their
you
motives,
have to lose.
you'll see their true colors. You'll understand life. You'll understand why certain things happen in life when you're down on the ground. Take down all the notes. Take every note down. Reflect, revise, and then get back up. Yeah. And once you go up, you're going up with like knowledge that you've never had before.
Yeah.
The knowledge that you've had, but you never realized you had. Activate knowledge. Yeah, you've applied it, and it's now wisdom. You're walking in wisdom. Once you get back up, you're walking in wisdom because you've taken note of everything that's happened.
Yeah.
So, best life lessons a lot of the times is in dark places, quiet zone. That's where some of the best inventions have been made.
That's right.
Best businesses have come out of dark places, low moments. And think of some of the best songs that songs that actually move people. They have come from bad moments. Certain organizations were built because of a pandemic, built because of a tragedy that took place. I would definitely encourage people to make the most of your low moments, take notes, but then once you take the notes, it's time to graduate.
Yeah. Okay, finally, my story last week, your story this week, it brings me to a scripture that I love so much, Romans 8:28. All things work together.
Yeah, my favorite scripture.
For those who are called by God, for those who love God, and for those who are called according to His purpose. You know, I mean that scripture is a big scripture, and I know it backs a lot of believers as well. They'll be asking, so if it has happened to me, then was that still, even if God did not meant it, even if it was maybe my mistake, so does that mean God was still working things out? He said that all things work. So that means that when you are called according to God's purpose, all things work. So does that scripture, obviously now that you're not there, but now obviously that's your favorite scripture. Now, is that scripture, is that a point of reference that anybody can use, everybody should use, especially those who are new in their faith, or even those in the faith who don't really understand, but they're passing through a tough time right now? How would you convince them by using that scripture? Like, listen, you're gonna come out of this because this is what the scripture said. We say all things. That means there's nothing outside of that. See, you say everything, so there's nothing outside.
Yeah.
When you're in the say all things, so how would you convince a believer that listen, you need to stick at it? That's what the scripture means. You need to drink that scripture, meditate to that scripture in your tough time, rather than cry with your situation, because you're in there already.
Yeah.
So what's Spirit going to do? So how would you tell a believer, listen, drink that scripture as your medicine until you begin to believe and manifest it? How would you encourage somebody who's in a dark place?
I'll tell them, identify 3 phases. First phase that you need to identify with is the last phase, which is destination. Yeah. So identify with your destination first. Yeah. And then start. Yeah. So start with the end. Follow up with the beginning. And then acknowledge the fact that there's an unknown process that you're gonna go through. Yeah. But your priority is always the final destination. Think of women, mothers who have physically given birth to children. Once they find out they got pregnant, they envisioned what they are going to be doing in motherhood. So they didn't stop preparing. But then there's a process. They've heard about being late, but they've heard about the pain. I'm talking about new mothers. They've heard about the pain, but they haven't gone through it yet. Yeah. It's a matter of life and death, what they go through. The wrong move can kill them and kill the child. And kill the child that the child should have had. Which kills the child that child should have had. Which kills the generation. Pain, yes, but keep pushing and birth out your potential, because our people's lives depend on it. Yeah. And that's rebound, When you rebound, you have a story to tell. Yeah.
And you don't know who's gonna benefit from that story, So awesome. Yeah, good stuff. We must do another one. We need to do one, also in terms of for ministry also.
Yeah.
How, the mistakes you've made and how it's been, what you've learned and everything, how God is using us, what His plans for us, and the journey there as well, the things we've been through. We need to do another one also on that.
Yeah.
Because I'm really learning a lot from this, and there's so much more to learn from each other, from our lives, and I thank God. I thank God for your life anyway. I thank God for the journey. Like since Newry College from 1998 to now, it's been an interesting journey. You know, like for us to always be together, even in the places of worship. You know, we started at KRCC, which was like a strong, a good grounding for us. I really thank God for KRCC. It was a really good grounding for us because it showed us what our church is like. And then the church we went to after, we've had so much drama, and then to come out. And then, to come out and then be stronger rather than choose to be bitter, So I really thank God for your life and for what you're going through and for what you've been through, because you're definitely an example to many, in terms of your loyalty, your love for people, and, your determination also. You are definitely you are definitely a good example for everybody and a good role model, like you said. I know your nieces, they look up to you, your nephews, I know they look up to you. And just look at the people that came to visit you at the hospital, that says it all. And look now as well, the people that God's going to use, that God is going to bring through you to the faith. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a message that only you, it's only you that they'll be able to understand. There's a certain type of people. So definitely Romans 8:28 is definitely all working good. So hey, people can say, is he going to church? Are you sure? Hey, but listen, hey, the journey is there. You're in there. That's the most important thing in there. You are in there now, and definitely God has begun using you. So I really thank God for your life, because you've been a great support to me. I won't lie about that. When I lost my mom, you was there for me in prayers, which is what I really needed. More than most, rather than crying with me every day, he was there in prayers. He was there in prayers with your support. I remember even. After mom's funeral, when I didn't know where I was with church, I remember the first thing you asked me, the first thing you told me, okay, Herman, where you going to do your ministry? I'm ready to back you. I never forget that statement. That statement is just going to stay with me. You said, whatever you do, I'll back you. Video, captions, I'm ready, I'll back you. I was thinking, why is he talking like that? Does he know that I'm ready to go to the next stage as well? So it's almost like, it's almost like, you knew that, something was about to change. And that's why I thank God for our friendship, because, we know when things happen, we know when to move to the next level, and we help each other. So I know that things are only going to get better, because, boy, you look at the things that you're doing right now. I mean, the things you did 3 years ago, you released a movie, under crazy circumstances. That's nothing that we go. You must speak one day also when we speak about the ministry, the things we've been through, our journey. You released a movie under the most crazy circumstances ever. I still now you released that movie where you're shooting the movie with your hair. Going to Stratford, Cannington, Plaster, every area shooting the movie. Going on the train, shooting that movie with your one camera. Failing the movie in front of so many people. Which, listen, I would have hidden, I would have listened, what, show's over, click, I'll see you in 10 years, in front of the cinema, the movie failed, the movie didn't show, and then you have to stand there and tell us that, hey, it's not happening, but then you bounce back, immediately, listen, this movie has to be released, and you released it, even in the biggest cinema, and then there was still even drama, even afterwards when you released it, your equipment going missing and that, so all those things is definitely resilience. So sometimes I tell my friends that, listen, Patrick is crazy, I'm like, this guy is crazy, I don't know how he does it, like, all this, some of the stress that you can handle, but again, all things work out, and I know that it's not in vain. And that's why, you're a very likable person, genuine person, wherever you go, wherever churches you've been to, that's why they always want to keep you. Oh, do the filming for us, do the camera for us, this and that. But it's all because they like you immediately. You know what I'm saying? They want to keep you back. And that is a good thing when people can say, okay, then in your absence, they can say that good thing about you. Or his character, is legit. That because it's character that's going to keep us to the next level, isn't it? It's character that's going to take us forward. So I know that you have that in abundance, and I can vouch for that, and everybody can vouch for that. So thank God for your life, and may the journey continue. There's more exciting chapters to come. So it's been good. Rebound.
Yeah, it's been a great journey.
Wow.
I look forward to more.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So God bless.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a wrap. Yeah. You want to close off?
Yeah, we'll close off. We'll catch you guys next time on Me versus Me.
Me versus Me. Yeah.
Me versus Me. Me versus me. Me versus me. Welcome to December.
Oh yes. God bless you guys.